EA just added 5 secret features to College Football 27, and if you don't master them now, you're going to start losing games to the players that actually adapt to them. Don't worry though, because in this video I'm breaking down all 5 secrets, why you need to be using them, and how you're going to adapt them to your gameplay. So I will warn you, don't skip out on any of the tips, or it could be the reason you're still getting dominated like I said. Let's jump right into it. The first secret feature you need to understand are the new best offensive settings. Let me show you what those are. Alright, the first one here is going to be timing-based catching. So we come to options, we come into settings, we come down, scroll down on your game options until you find timing-based catching, minimum throw distance for offense. Alright, I have mine set to 10 yards. I've seen other players use 0 yards. If you're on 0, basically you're going to have to time every single pass. So we'll show what that looks like here. And there are advantages and disadvantages to this. I would say if you're, which most of us are still getting used to timing-based catching, I'd recommend starting with it on 10 yards and not on 0. But the reason why they like it on 0 is because when you throw drags, right, for example, you actually have control to be able to green it. Now, understand that meter is going to move so fast when the pass is under 10 yards. So really, that's where you would just use the tap method. I don't really use the tap method because I use mine on over 10 yards. So I don't need to tap. But if I had mine on under, you just tap the button and you get greens. And so it's like, that can be easy, but it can also catch you off guard if you're used to throwing passes over 10 yards and then you kind of, I guess, scare yourself by throwing one under 10. Like, you're not going to be able to green it. But it's very easy to just tap the button and then be able to secure the pass, tap, and that's a green. And so now, it's like, that's going to be a catch a lot of the time anyway, even with it off. But it's just an adjustment that you can make if you feel like you're throwing too many passes and you're randomly dropping them. Turning your timing-based catching down to 0 can work. Like I said though, I use mine on 10 because I feel like that would be a catch anyway, but it is nice in contested situations to be able to, you know, pretty much guarantee that you're going to be able to bring that pass in just by using the tap method. So again, like I said, I have mine on 10, so if I call like a flood concept, for example, and then I was going to try to look for my backside dig route, that pass is going to be over 10 yards. Hopefully, if it's over 10 yards, that's when you time it. So if they're going to be in cover 3 right here, I'm going to just call a crossing route in the middle of the field like this. And really, so what we're going to be able to see is when I step up in the pocket, I'm just going to be able to throw that pass, green it, and bring it in. You do not want time-based catching to be off, though. You will get punished for not using it. Like, if you have it like completely off and then you throw that same pass, you'll randomly drop the ball when that's a very easy green pass or a very easy green catch that you need to master. So really, to master time-based catching, all you really need to do is look at your meter. All right, you want to make sure that you're actually looking at the meter to determine how long you need to hold it. Like I said, if it's a pass right at 10 yards, that meter is going to move really quickly. If it's like over 10 yards, like a significant, amount over 10 yards, then that meter is going to move a little bit slower, like right here where that meter is going to move slow. I'm going to be able to get it directly in the green because I'm throwing it, to RB, and then I'm holding X until it gets into the green because I want to rack this ball. Now, they gave me an aggressive catch right here where I fell to the ground, but I was holding X to try to rack this ball, and then I let go of X once I saw that the meter was in the green. So really, that's how I would master timing-based catching. You can use it on 0 if you'd like to be able to time everything, especially in contested situations underneath, but it's also like you really need to just get comfortable with this so that you have full control over every pass that you throw. So right here, I'm going to throw a curl off man, I green it, and even though I got hit right there, which in previous years that could have been a drop, I'm able to guarantee that I actually reel that pass in. So start throwing your pass, holding the catch type that you want until it gets into the green, and then you're going to be able to reel in a lot of those passes with green catching. But the other new setting that I want to break down here is going to be Untarget User Defender, and this is one that you need to understand what it actually does for the rest of the year so that you never use it, alright? So really what that looks like is I'm going to put them really in any defense. It really doesn't matter. But what you're going to see is I come into my coaching adjustments and you see you see Untarget User Defender. I have mine off, like I said. If you turn this on, it says blockers will focus not well, excuse me, blockers will not focus on the defender the user is controlling, all right? And so really there are advantages and disadvantages to this as well, right? What the advantage is that this is built-in identifier. If I look at my player right here, I see a flame icon over Bigley Jones, the defensive tackle. If they change players, now there's going to be a flame icon over Reese. There was no flame icon over Reese before. If they get onto this corner over here, now there's going to be a flame icon over Lee. So it's basically built-in identifier so that you know exactly kind of where they're going to be or who their user defender is, which can be helpful if they're like hiding on like an outside corner trying to defend a speed out. So it can be valuable. The thing that I don't like about it though is you're able to see right here where if they just user this defensive end, Pierce, and then, or Pierre, and then just run in free. Like, he's just going to run in free. Now, luckily, I had my running back blocked, but if I don't block my running back, that guy's going to come in free because the offensive line is ignoring him. So if you send 5 out, they user this guy, he comes in free, and then it's like the other offensive linemen, they have to allocate those blockers. So you don't want to have this on because you don't want to just allow for them to, like, user a linebacker and they just run in completely free, and then the running back has to pick him up. It's like you want your offensive line to actually be able to block how they're supposed to, which is where having Untarget user defender off is really going to help you. Also in the run game, like if we audible to inside zone here, he is like their user's always going to have a flame icon over their head, which means they're just going to be able to run in free just like that. My user walks in free, tackles the guy, because it's like my offensive line is completely ignoring him because I'm telling them to. So bottom line here with Untarget user defender, it will make your run game and your pass game so much worse. You won't really know why guys are walking in free. I believe the default setting is actually having it turned off, but you really just want to make sure that you're not listening to anyone who tells you to turn this on. This is not, I kind of think this is a useless feature. I don't know why EA put it in the game, just confusing newer players, but always make sure you untarget user defender off. And if you need to untarget their user defender, you can do that manually at the line of scrimmage. Alright, next I want to break down an offensive hack that's going to allow you to have unlimited hot routes and make your offense 10 times better. Let me show you what that is. Alright, so this feature that we're going to be breaking down here is going to be called formation shifting, alright? And so really what this means, if you flick the right stick right here, you can flick it left or right, you're going to be able to cycle through formations with the same personnel as you have. So I'm in gun bunch right now, so I'm able to shift to 11 personnel formations. I'm actually going to call a timeout here, but it's like you're going to be able to basically come out in whatever formation you want, and then you're going to automatically shift to bunch. So if I came out in spread-wise slot, I would come out in spread-wise slot and then be able to audible automatically without having to do anything. All I'd have to do is press A, we're going to come out in bunch, all right? And so now they're going to call whatever defense they want to call. And so you see it tells the defense that we're coming out in spread-wise slot. All right, cool. So they are going to set up their defense for spread-wise slot, and then we're just going to press A or X here on PlayStation to shift to bunch. Alright, and so now I'm going to be able to set up my play, whatever play that I wanted to call, and we're going to be able to find our running back here, hopefully not throw behind the line of scrimmage, but you're going to be able to audible from one formation to another without, and it's going to be faster, like, because I'm not having to scroll through the audible screen. But also what makes this so good is you have unlimited hot routes, alright? And so if we do the same thing, once you press A to formation shift, right, so once you shift, I have unlimited hot routes. I can set up my entire play immediately without having, like, because now it's like your hot routes are going to be slower. But now you can basically, it's like having Conductor if you played Madden before. So you can set up whatever play you want a whole lot faster than, you know, if you were to audible to that, because now when you audible it's slower and then you don't have unlimited hot routes. So this is really going to allow you to throw off a bunch of defensive players, because it's like, okay, I come out in a trips formation and now I'm going to be able to let them set up their defense. Like they might set up like a cover 3 on this side to try to defend our trips. Cool, now we formation shift, and now they're in cover 3 when they might have wanted to run cover 2. So now we could call maybe something like this. You have unlimited hot routes, so you can set up as many hot routes as you want while your players are shifting. And so now you're just going to be able to see how, like, it's just going to be really hard for them to play really good defense, because we're pretty much always going to have the upper hand because, we're formation shifting, and then we're able to quick snap them really well with our unlimited hot route. So that's really what formation shifting is. Again, make sure you're using the right stick to choose the formation you're coming out in. It's going to show the defense that same formation, and then you're going to snap the ball, which is really just going to shift your formation, utilize your unlimited hot routes, and then you're ready to go to try to snap the ball. But start using formation shifting in your next game. Alright, so if you found those first two offensive tips helpful here in College Football 27, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down College Football 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you're serious about transforming your gameplay here in College Football 27, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to grab my ebook bundle with the Alabama offense and the 4-2-5 man pressure defense. They both have full videos, screenshots, write-up instructions, and custom adjustments for you to be able to save on your phone and always reference during gameplay. Really, this is the best way to transform your offense or your defense here in College Football 27. And again, the best part is you can save everything on your phone during your games. So go down below, grab them both today, and let's jump right back into the video. Because next I want to break down a secret that not enough players know about, but it's going to make it so much easier and less annoying to play defense. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, so really what I'm going to be breaking down here is how you can stop your players from moving before the play. Alright, so if I go ahead and call any defense cover 3 cloud from load mug, we're not going to have them formation shift right here. They're just going to come out in bunch. You see how these dudes are moving all around like before the play? And I don't know about you guys, but I just find this to be really annoying. Like, it doesn't, like, eventually they're going to set, and that's cool. But it's like, sometimes that just hurts you more than it helps you because your guys are out of position and then you're having to move them. Like, if the offense snaps the ball before your guys stop moving, it's like, that's going to be a problem for you. So how you're going to stop them from moving is like it's just ridiculous why these guys do this. Like, they're just walking around, and it's like, sometimes, like, it doesn't hurt you that badly. It's just kind of a pet peeve of mine and something that I find to be really annoying and hurts your defense more than it helps you because you're not really disguising anything by guys moving around. EA says it's realistic, but I think it's kind of pointless. So how we're going to stop that from happening here is we are going to just pinch our linebackers. So we're going to flick our right stick to the right, and then we're going to pinch our linebackers, and now you see how no one's moving anymore. So what I like to do is as soon as the ball snapped, I just go ahead, flick my right stick to the right, and then flick my left stick down to pinch those guys, and now they're going to not move, and we're actually going to be able to set up our defense without our players moving. And so it's like, obviously this isn't necessarily something where I'm giving you an instant blitz, to be able to play lockdown defense. This is more so something where it's like, if I want to, try to play good defense, I don't want my players to be moving around before the snap. So again, I could set up this, boom, pinch my linebackers down, my safeties in position, and now we can do that before they even snap the ball. So there's no chance for them to just, put RB on a shriek and try to snap the ball before my safeties kind of move back into his position. Now he's right there in a perfect position to be able to knock that pass away because he's not like moving all around before the snap. Also allows you to see your play art better. So what I mean by that is, when your guys are moving all around, you don't truly know where your guys are going to be, but as soon as he moves back into position now, I know he's going to be in the dead center of the field, and so we're going to be able to play a whole lot better defense, than if he's, moving around before the snap. So we go ahead and throw that, and he's able to break on that. Hopefully you'll be able to intercept it in a game. But bottom line here, get your defenders to stop moving pre-snap. Just pinch your linebackers. So that's right stick to the right, then left stick down to pinch those guys. Stop them from moving pre-play. You'll be able to see your play art better, and the offense isn't going to be able to take advantage of your poor alignment as well. All right, before I jump to those final 2 tips that you're absolutely not going to want to miss because they're going to transform your game even more than those first 3 did here in College Football 27, I wanted to remind you to go down below, hit that subscribe button. I'm the only one that's going to be breaking down CFB 27 tips and tricks here on YouTube every single day, all year long, so you're not going to want to miss out on any of the content I have. Let's jump to those final 2 tips though. Because next I want to break down the best coverage defense that you need to be using, which is going to be match coverage. It's super easy, and a lot of offensive players don't know how to beat it. Let me show you what that looks like. All right, so one of the best formations that you're going to be playing against this year actually is going to be gun bunch strong offset, all right? And so really the reason why this is so good is because if we call, I mean, there's so many different route concepts that they truly could use with this, but if we just have, put ourselves here in random zone coverage, this is going to be a route concept that they can go to, and they're going to be able to just abuse you, right? So, I mean, like I said, there's so many different route concepts they can use to attack, any type of zone defense, but they can hit their running back up the seam, they can hit their post route, and I have an Alabama ebook, and I use this combo all the time. Then the post route would get open across the field, like right here, if I waited a bit longer, the seam to the running back's open. You could probably throw this tight end drag too if you really wanted it. So they have so many different options. So we really have to have a way to be able to counter that, because you guys know I don't really like man coverage. It's pretty good in this game, but I don't believe that you can consistently get stops against good players running man coverage because it's so variable. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to run a hybrid between man and zone coverage. We're going to take the good principles of both coverages and combine them into one. So the way that I like to do this here is going to be through cover 4 quarters. All right, so we're going to call cover 4 quarters. This doesn't really apply to any specific formation. You could really run cover 4 quarters from, really any defense in the game as long as you have it. But really what I'm going to show you is this is going to do a much better job of actually defending this specific route concept right here, because we're going to be able to match onto a lot of their routes. So I'm just going to use our defensive lineman for the sake of, this first time, but we just take this and we just look at it, and now what are we going to see? How we're able to do a great job of defending their seam pass, and then we're also able to do a great job of guarding their post route as it runs across the field. So we take a look at the replay. First, look at the tight end, which is normally the first read. He gets guarded across the field. The post route gets matched onto down the field, and he gets double teamed. So the post route's really the toughest route to stop on this play, because it's almost like you either user it or you're out of luck. So you're able to see, boom, post routes guarded, and then the running back up the seam, which is another thing that's really hard, because it's like, do you guard the running back with your user, or do you guard the post? Well, now we have defenders over here that are guarding both of these, all right? So here's the key limitation, though, and this is what I'm going to be breaking down here. We need a way to stop this. This is an easy completion every single time, and good bunch players understand that if you run match coverage, just running default cover 4 quarters, they can very easily take advantage of, the fact that you're in default cover 4 quarters. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to come to our coaching adjustments here, and let me move my camera. We're going to come into our coaching adjustments. You can also do these on the main menu as well, but you see how your cover 4 quarters check against bunch is on box. I have mine on box, and the default is actually box. So they don't change it. It's going to be on box anyway. I do like box, but when I'm playing against a good bunch player, that's when you need to change to bingo. Box is going to be a lot more conservative and try to not give up big plays, whereas bingo is going to be more aggressive on the outside receiver. So it says if the outside receiver stays on the outside, the corner locks onto him man to man, all right? And so that's exactly what this specific route concept that's so tough to defend from bunch strong offset, that's exactly what they're doing. The outside receiver, who they're calling number 1 is Rodgers here, he stays outside, right? So let me actually move my camera back here, but he's going to stay outside, and so now it's going to be really easy for us to just latch onto that and take it away. Boom. Now they can't throw that. That's an easy interception. Simply just by changing your cover 4 quarters bunch check from box to bingo is what's going to allow you to get these easy interceptions and actually do a good job of taking away these flats. So you're going to see how they're trying to hike throw a flat, it's behind the receiver, it's intercepted for a touchdown. But we're going to actually roll out the entire play right here so we can see that you still get a lot of the same good coverage ability everywhere else. So this time I'm actually going to put my user on the field. I'm going to try to user this drag. Boom, and look how great of coverage this is. We're actually able to take away their underneath flat. We're going to still match onto their post. We're still going to match onto their running back in route. And this time I'm here to take away this drag with my user. This is a quarter flat defender on the opposite side. This guy's supposed to drop out here to the left side in zone coverage. But he sees the shriek and he knows this is his job now. And he's able to guard this. Post is still double teamed here. Great coverage by Bray Hubbard. And then we're actually bracketing this flat because we've changed our coverage from box to bingo. So that's really the biggest advantage that you're going to get when you're running cover 4 quarters against bunch formation, specifically bunch strong offset, is you're able to utilize your different match checks. And if you actually understand kind of what each one of these do, because I'm not saying box is bad. Box can still lock down a lot of different concepts from bunch formations, but it's like if you're noticing they're giving up too many underneath passes against bunch formations, which box is very susceptible to, that's when I would recommend you switch to bingo. And overall, that's going to be a pretty lockdown coverage, man-zone hybrid from cover 4 quarters. That's going to do a great job of locking down any type of bunch set. Alright, and that fifth and final secret tip that I want to break down here in this video is actually going to be the new best custom adjustment you need to be using that none enough players know about or are talking about right now. Let me show you what it is. Alright, so this is going to be the Mabel coverage macro, alright? The reason why is because we need a way to be able to stop the short sideline and deep sideline at the same time. Now, you could certainly use cover 4 quarters like I broke down in the last segment to be able to do something very similar, but if you don't want to have the risk of guys like bumping in man coverage because you're converting from zone to man, this is what I would do. So this is the custom adjustment here, double mug, Mabel here, guess play pass. Alright, we're going to make sure that we have our D-line shifted left. We're using the left exit 2-man stunt. Alright, and then we are going to press. Alright, and then we are going to put our safety depth at 9 with our zone drop flats on 5 and our zone drop curl flats on 25 and our hooks on 5. I'm going to show you why here in a second, but in previous years, I would tell you guys use 25-yard flats, 5-yard curl flats. There's a difference now here in this specific game that I believe should be fixed at some point, but it's a huge problem right now, and it's why you need to instead put your curl flats on 25 yards. So I think that actually has everything to do with this macro. I don't think there's any other adjustments here. Actually, no, I was wrong, because now you're going to put your outside corner in a curl flat. You're going to put both of your corners, 1 and 2, in curl flats here. You're going to put your slot corner in a hard flat. And then you're going to put your free safety in a deep half, strong safety in a deep half, left edge rusher in a vertical hook. And let's see if there's any other ones here. Doesn't really appear to be. And so that's the macro, right? So obviously this is already in my defensive ebook from the 425 man pressure playbook. But if you want to rewind the video, you could certainly do that as well to make sure you get all of those adjustments off. And I'm going to show you what that really looks like here in a second on the field and why it's so good. Alright, so the reason why you need to make sure that you are using this specific macro is this is from any formation in this game. When they have their bunch on, or any kind of bunch formation on the wide side of the field, right? What you're going to notice is even if you put your zone drops at 25 yards or zone stem your cloud flat up to the 25-yard mark, it is going to get sucked down every single time if they have enough time to throw. So we're going to look at the replay. We're going to take the snap. We're going to step up in the pocket. You see how that outside corner is going to drop back to like 10 or 15 yards, and then he immediately comes down on a flat. Even though I have my zone drop set to 25 yards, which is really telling him, hey, drop back there regardless. Like, you see it right here. He's dropping back to 25 yards, but then he sees a flat, and then he just comes down and guards it for no reason, giving this up, or excuse me, giving this corner route up. So it's like, okay, cool, I got pressure there, they got sacked, right? But it's like, you can't rely on that. That's terrible because that zone, you expect him to do one thing, and he's doing something completely different. So that's why I say you guys need to make sure you're putting your curl flat on 25 yards, because a curl flat doesn't do that in this game. You're going to notice how we're going to come into nickel double mug right here. We are going to come into, I mean, it really doesn't matter. I'll just call Tampa 2, and I'm going to use that same macro, right? So I'm going to this time put my zone drop on 25 yards here, all right? Or excuse me, put my flats on 5, curl flats on 25, hooks on 5, all right? And so now I'm going to go with this same play, Tampa 2, and I'm on my other account, so I don't actually have access to that macro, but you guys would use that macro. It's going to do what I'm going to show you right here. So what you're going to see is this time I'm going to press Y, then I'm going to press B, and I'm going to put my outside corner in a curl flat. So now you're going to see how he's in that curl flat, and then I'm going to put my slot corner in a hard flat, because again, I have my flats, my blues on 5, my purples on 25. So now what you're going to see right here is that we're easily going to be able to defend this, right? Because now what's going to happen is, even though we're on the wide side still, he actually drops back there because he's in a curl flat. So curl flats will actually drop back to 25 yards. They're not going to come down, and they're not going to give up easy completions to this corner out. So boom, we're actually able to get back here, defend this, and then we're able to defend their flat route with our 5-yard, excuse me, hard flat. Very easy. And then like this is the old school double Mabel, but now you have to change it up. You have to change the zones that you're using. You can no longer use the blue zones to be able to get back to the sideline. Now you have to use purple. So Y then or triangle, then B or circle, and then left stick to the right to put the outside corner in a curl flat. And then you're gonna see the same thing where I'm gonna put my slot corner in a hard flat. So boom, and now you're just going to see, again, we're going to go there one last time here, where we're actually going to be able to defend a flood concept because we're actually using the right macro and we actually have the right settings turned on. He's back there, he's underneath, and we're able to lock it down. So start using that custom adjustment that I broke down, use it, and you're going to see how your outside corners are going to be in curl flats, and they're going to do a whole lot better job of actually taking away those deeper passes and not getting sucked down like a blue zone does. Alright, so if you found any of those 5 secret tips helpful that no one else is going to break down here in College Football 27, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down CFB 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you're serious about transforming your offense or your defense here in CFB 27, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to grab my ebook bundle from the Alabama and 425 man pressure playbooks with all the custom adjustments, money plays, red zone offense and defense that you're going to need in order to dominate here in College Football 27. You can save everything to your phone during gameplay, and you can use code YouTube at checkout to get 20% off. I highly recommend you check it out, but if you want to see what that defense actually looks like here in CFB 27, check out this video where I broke it down. I'll see you over there. Peace.